Thanks, Chairman. I'm disappointed as well that Senator Cardin is aging out of the Senate.
Yeah.
Because we could use him around here as well on that. And as both of you, that's a big issue in my state as well. And when I talk to foster care folks, that is one, if not the first, it's the second issue that comes up about how we can help more kids in the age out process. And so grateful for your advocacy on that for so long. It is unfinished business.
Yep.
And we'll continue to be able to do. So all of you, thank you for your testimony and for the work that you put in, getting up every day, helping children and families. It's really significant work, multi-generational. My mom was a librarian for years, and when she went to administration, she called it her burnout job because she didn't get to be with kids all the time. And so for all of you that have shifted from seeing families every day to being an administrative role, thanks for your engagement. Don't burn out on us. We need people to be able to help. Ms. Tapazeda, thank you for your testimony. The chairman's right. You stole our heart, getting a chance to just be able to hear the story and the journey that you've been on and your family's been on. Thank you for the continued advocacy that you've had on this. For the commissioner, let me wrap up something the chairman and the ranking member have said. I think what would be helpful to us is if you could get us a follow-up as well of kind of what's next based on the testimony today, the things that have come up. Obviously, clearinghouse, we've had questions, standards, we've had questions. Based on all the things that have come out today, it'd be helpful to our committee to be able to say, hey, here are the things that I heard today that we're going to do different to be able to help in the process. This is not an accusation, it's just a conversation because we all want to be able to help kids. But that would be a helpful document for us to be able to get back just as a team here as well on it. Following up on something Ms. Chang had mentioned before about faith-based groups and their cooperation, we need as many groups and as many families as we possibly can engaged in the foster system and as many families as we can on this. I am getting some concerns of some folks that are coming back to my office on just the concern. The ACF's recent rule on foster care considers situations where a child has been removed from their home. The statement was due in part or in whole to a familial conflict about their sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, or sex characteristics. I know it's a touchy issue on this, but we got to figure out how to get as many people as we can possibly to be able to help in the foster system. And what I don't want to have is a message being sent to faith-based organizations or families that believe in a traditional marriage situation that you're no longer welcome to participate, and suddenly a huge portion of America is told we don't need you anymore, when that's not true. That's not the message that they should receive, but my fear is some of them are receiving that message at this point based on the rule. So my question just on their behalf on things is ACF's position that foster parents who hold to a religious belief on traditional marriage should have foster kids removed from their care?
So thank you for the question, Senator Lankford. The rule that you're referring to, I believe, is the designated placement rule that just came out this month. The requirement in the rule is that the Child Welfare Agency, the 4E agency, have the diversity of placements to meet the needs of the diversity of the children that they serve. Faith-based organizations have been and will continue to be a big part of the service providers in partnership with child welfare agencies. So the requirement and the onus really falls to the state agencies to ensure that they are doing what they need to do to have diversity of placements to meet the variety of needs that children have.
Okay, but for faith-based families, faith-based organizations, or non-faith, just to believe in traditional marriage on it, they're not excluded, precluded from being engaged in the system in any way?
No.
That's helpful to know. My home state in Oklahoma, our state legislature and the governor signed a law that prohibits irreversible gender transition procedures from being performed on children. Has nothing to do with adults on this. It's just for minors. Obviously, that's been a scientific debate that's happening globally. Actually, currently, as many countries in Europe have now, as a whole, as Europe said, hey, we're not going to do that anymore. America's still having that debate on it, on the issue on children for irreversible transition procedures on this. The law's been upheld, the Oklahoma law has, by federal district court on that. Will this have an issue that conflicts with enforcement in Oklahoma, in my home state, for that new rule and how it's proposed? Is there any challenge that would be there between the state of Oklahoma and their law and between this new rule?
So the rule is focused on having the placements to meet children's needs, and so it is about the foster placement and then the supports and services that children need. That in many ways enhances the position that we've had around individual children, the decisions being made around what their needs are and who can best meet those needs. That stands. The ability to meet those needs from a medical standpoint, the rule does not address the medical issues that you're referring to. We rely on medical professionals and families to make decisions related to the children. This is really specifically focused on the foster care placement and the ability to meet the needs of kids.
Let's just do a follow-up on that, and we can follow up, because obviously our state is going to continue to be able to help foster children. We've had a very active program to be able to do what we can, and thankfully, like other states, we've reduced our numbers on that. I'd love to be able to visit with you more about congregate care and so many other issues that we can get a chance to be able to talk about on it. But this is an area that our state has made a decision to say, hey, I know the nation hasn't decided this, but we as a state don't think this is the best for children in this, to do irreversible gender transition for children. Adults make their own decisions. Children, we don't want to have something that's irreversible to them when they're 13 years old. They can't make a decision on that's different in 19. But we also want to make sure that we can stay engaged in the program as well. And so maybe you and I can follow up on this to make sure that our state and the new rule and the promulgation of the rules that will come out will line up. Thank you.